The village of Boomatheyam pulsed with a primal energy. Dawn painted the sky in hues of fire and ochre. The air, thick with the scent of jungle blooms and damp earth, vibrated with the calls of unseen creatures. Towering trees, ancient sentinels of the jungle, cast long shadows over the bustling village. Their rough bark and sprawling canopies whispered stories of a time when giants roamed the earth. At the heart of this prehistoric world, nestled amongst huts crafted from dinosaur hide and bone, lived a young boy named Dasa. His eyes, bright with intelligence and a thirst for adventure, mirrored the untamed spirit of their world. Dasa possessed a rare courage, a connection to the wild that set him apart. Dasa's days were filled with the sights and sounds of Boomatheyam. He helped his family gather fruits and berries from the jungle's edge, always alert for the rustle of leaves that might signal danger, or the thrill of the hunt. He learned the ancient ways of his people, their rituals and traditions passed down through generations. Yet, Dasa yearned for something more, a connection that ran deeper than the familiar rhythms of village life. He found that connection not in another human but in the most unlikely of companions. In the heart of Boomatheyam, hidden from the wary eyes of the villagers, Dasa nurtured an extraordinary secret. It began with a whisper, a rumor of an abandoned egg found nestled in the warm ashes of a forest fire. Curiosity consumed Dasa, compelling him to seek out the abandoned hatchling. He found the egg, nestled amongst the charred remains of a fallen tree. It pulsed with a faint warmth, a flicker of life that resonated within Dasa's soul. He carefully carried the egg back to the village, hiding it within the safety of his hut. Days later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the egg trembled, and with a soft crack, a tiny creature emerged. It was a baby Tyrannosaurus rex, its scales shimmering like amethysts in the firelight. Dasa, his heart swelling with a love he couldn't explain, named the hatchling Dole. Dole, small and vulnerable, imprinted on Dasa instantly. He became Dasa's shadow, following him through the village, his tiny claws tapping against the packed earth. Dasa, fiercely protective of his unusual companion, shared his food with Dole, whispering stories of the world beyond their village.
I know what they say about you, Dole, but I see the truth in your eyes. You're not a monster.
As Dole grew, his scales transforming from a vibrant amethyst to a deep, earthy brown, so too did the whispers in the village. Fear, like a venomous serpent, coiled around the hearts of the villagers. They saw only a monster, a creature of destruction, in Dole's growing form. Dasa's parents, though wary at first, recognized the depth of the bond between their son and the young TRex. They saw the gentleness in Dole's eyes when he looked at Dasa, the way he lowered his head to be scratched under his chin. They saw the love that transcended species, the unspoken language of trust and loyalty that bound the two together.
That beast will turn on you, Dasa. It's only a matter of time.
We cannot live in fear. Dole must be banished.
However, not all were swayed by the evidence of their own eyes. Some villagers, their hearts hardened by fear and prejudice, demanded Dole be banished from Boomatheyam. They warned of the day the beast would turn on its master, their words laced with venom and distrust. Dasa, his chin held high, met their gazes with unwavering determination. He knew Dole, knew the gentle soul that resided beneath the fearsome exterior. He would not abandon his friend, not when Dole needed him most. The stage was set, the lines drawn in the dust of their prehistoric world. On one side stood Dasa, his heart brimming with unwavering loyalty, and Dole, his powerful form a testament to the bond they shared. On the other, the villagers, their fear a palpable entity, their whispers carried on the wind like a storm brewing on the horizon. Time, in the heart of Boomatheyam, flowed like the river that snaked through the jungle. Seasons changed, marked by the blossoming of vibrant flowers and the falling of leaves painted in hues of gold and crimson. With each passing season, Dole grew, transforming from a fragile hatchling into a formidable adolescent. Dasa, his own body lengthening, his shoulders broadening with the promise of manhood, remained Dole's constant companion. He spent hours each day training with Dole in the outskirts of the village, teaching him to control his growing strength, to channel his primal instincts. Dasa's days began before the sun peeked over the horizon. he would slip out of his family's hut, a bundle of meat slung over his shoulder, and make his way to Dole's clearing. The villagers, though still wary, had grown accustomed to Dole's presence, their fear tempered by the passing of time and Dasa's unwavering control over his companion. They would spend hours together, Dasa honing his own skills with a spear, his movements swift and precise, while Dole practiced his attacks, his roars echoing through the jungle. Dasa taught Dole to differentiate between friend and foe, to channel his predatory instincts towards the hunt, to protect the innocent. Their bond deepened with each passing day, a silent language of trust and understanding passing between them. Dasa could read the subtle shifts in Dole's posture, the flick of his tail, the glint in his golden eyes. Dole, in turn, responded to Dasa's every command, his loyalty unwavering, his love for his human companion absolute. There were moments of pure joy, moments when Dasa would climb onto Dole's back, his laughter echoing through the jungle as Dole carried him on his back, his powerful legs carrying them effortlessly through the undergrowth. They would race through the jungle, the wind whipping through their hair, the thrill of the chase coursing through their veins. In the evenings, as the sky blazed with the colors of the setting sun, they would sit by the river, Dasa sharing his meager rations with Dole, their fingers brushing as they ate. Dasa would speak of his dreams, his aspirations to become the greatest hunter Boomatheyam had ever known, to lead his people with courage and wisdom. Dole would listen, his massive head resting on his paws, his golden eyes reflecting the fading light of the day. He understood, in the way that only animals can, the depth of Dasa's dreams, the fire that burned within his soul. He would be there by Dasa's side, always. Yet, even in the warmth of their companionship, shadows of doubt lingered. The villagers, though accustomed to Dole's presence, still harbored a deep-seated fear of the creature. They whispered behind cupped hands, their eyes filled with suspicion, their words like venomous darts aimed at Dasa's heart.
He'll turn on you, it's in his nature, he's a beast, not a pet.
Dasa would ignore their taunts, his jaw set in a firm line, his gaze unwavering. He knew better. He had seen the gentleness beneath Dole's fearsome exterior, the love that shone in his eyes. He trusted Dole with his life, and he knew with every fiber of his being that Dole felt the same. But there were times, fleeting moments, when doubt would creep into Dasa's own heart. Dole's size, his power, was a constant reminder of the beast that lay dormant within.
What if the villagers were right? What if one day Dole's primal instincts overwhelmed his affection for Dasa?
These moments were short-lived, chased away by the warmth of Dole's gaze, the gentle nudge of his head against Dasa's shoulder. Dasa would banish these thoughts, clinging to the unshakable belief that their bond transcended the boundaries of nature, that their love was a force stronger than fear, stronger than instinct. One scorching afternoon, as Dasa and Dole trained in their usual clearing, a tremor shook the ground beneath their feet. The trees swayed, their leaves rustling like whispers of warning. Dole let out a low growl, his massive head turning from side to side, his nostrils flaring as he caught a scent on the wind. Dasa, his hand resting on Dole's flank, felt the tension in the creature's muscles. Something was wrong. A primal fear, an ancient instinct pulsed through the air, sending a shiver down Dasa's spine.
What is it, Dole?
Suddenly, a group of children, their faces pale with terror, burst from the undergrowth, their cries piercing the stillness of the jungle. They stumbled into the clearing, their eyes wide with panic, their words tumbling over each other in their haste to recount the source of their fear.
Gronk is loose.
Gronk. The name hung in the air like a death knell, a monstrous Tyrannosaurus Rex, twice the size of Dole, known for his ferocity and his insatiable hunger. He had been captured as a hatchling, brought to Boomatheyam as a trophy, a symbol of the villagers' dominance over nature. But Gronk had grown too powerful, his rage too great to be contained. Now, he was loose, a force of destruction unleashed upon the village. And Dasa, his heart pounding in his chest, knew that he and Dole were Boomatheyam's only hope. The news of Gronk's escape swept through Boomatheyam like a wildfire, consuming the villagers' hearts with terror.